tenemos unas cajas que nos indican lo mismo que la narración cuando vimos cómo lo hizo Mary, la mesera. En esta narración, como en todas las clases, hay unos verbos acerca de lo que está haciendo la mesera. Describe, inform, repeat, recommend, ask, cook, ask, want, explain. Estos verbos en inglés los vamos a practicar porque es literalmente lo que está haciendo el trabajador del restaurante. Muy importante para subir tu nivel de inglés del restaurante. Estos son los verbos, las actividades que hacen los trabajadores en el restaurante. En inglés utilizamos mucho las acciones y los verbos. En el segundo ejercicio vamos a practicar sustantivos, cosas, acciones, cosas. Todo el vocabulario necesario para el inglés. En el ejercicio 3, adjetivos. Adjetivos con sus contrarios. Adjetivos que describen. Si tú tienes los adjetivos del restaurante, los sustantivos del restaurante y los verbos del restaurante, tendrás un buen nivel de inglés para el restaurante. Específicamente van a ser los verbos para tomar una orden de comida, los sustantivos de orden de comida y los adjetivos y sus antónimos para órdenes de comida. Obviamente no podemos dejar atrás las frases que necesitamos para trabajar en esta situación de tomar orden de comida en el restaurante en inglés. En el ejercicio 4 vamos a practicar las frases que dice el mesero. Ya las vimos, las frases que utilizó Mary. Y como sabes, en nuestra sección de More Expressions aquí, tenemos más frases y las tenemos separadas por cada foto donde vimos cómo hace su trabajo Mary the waitress. Estas son las frases literal en las burbujas de conversación. Tenemos un ejercicio donde escuchamos al cliente y nosotros tenemos que participar como meseros. Tengo las frases ya separadas para el ejercicio, porque todo esto lo vamos a hacer en inglés. En el ejercicio 5, vamos a poner todo el guión para hacer nuestro trabajo tomando una orden de comida en el restaurante, la prueba final, hacerlo todo completo con el huésped, nuestro cliente participando, le tomamos su orden de comida. Ok, clase, estamos listos para empezar la clase totalmente en inglés. Voy a irme lento. Vamos a empezar escuchando, obviamente, Mary the waitress, como ella hace su trabajo. Hello, welcome to another class. This is Unit 4, exercises. Taking a food order. Taking a food order at a restaurant, so if you're a waitress, waiter, or waiter assistant, this class is perfect. We saw last class how Mary the waitress takes a food order. Taking food orders. We heard and saw the different verbs, different actions, and we saw Mary doing these actions in the pictures. And we have our key vocabulary, verbs, to describe, to explain, to flavor, to inform, to order, to place, to recommend, to repeat, to run out of, to saute, to follow, to start. Those are the verbs in this unit 4, taking a food order. We're going to use those verbs for exercise number 1. In exercise number 1, the sentences in the boxes tell you what the waiter did, what Mary, the waitress, did in the pictures. So you can see her body doing the verbs. Her body is moving and she's doing these different actions. Let's practice those actions like describe, inform, repeat, ask, want, recommend, explain. These are the actions specifically for taking food orders at the restaurant. In today's class, we have an exercise with verbs. Next, we're doing another exercise with nouns like alternative, confirmation, meal, dish, main course, ingredients, verbs, nouns. So for exercise 3, we have to cover some adjectives and some synonyms and the opposite in meaning. Adjectives. We can't forget about the phrases we have to use during the food order. We have to take the food order with certain phrases. We use different phrases. So we're going to practice the different phrases for the waiter in exercise 4. And in exercise 5, we're going to organize the phrases with the guest and the waiter taking a food order in order from start to finish. Let's get started. Exercise 1. The sentences in the boxes below tell you what the waiter did when he took a food order. Put his actions into the correct order by giving each box a number. We need to organize the order. Let's read the boxes. The waiter described how the dish was cooked. The waiter described how the dish was cooked. Repeat. He described how the dish was cooked. Next. He informed them about the restaurant's specialties. He repeated the whole order back to them. The waiter recommended another dish to his guest. He asked the guest if they were ready to order their food. Another guest asked for salmon for his main course. A guest wanted to know how a dish was prepared. And letter H, he explained that the restaurant had run out of salmon. We need the order. So let's go and listen to the waitress, Mary, taking a food order. She's gonna help us check the order. We need the order. Let's check the order of the different activities we have. Here we have 8 different activities. We need to put them in the correct order. So let's go listen to Mary. Let's look at today's taking a food order and decide.
Unit 4. Taking food orders.
Taking food orders. Here's Mary taking food orders. Ready?
Unit 4. Taking food orders. Part 1. Text and dialogues.
Pay special attention to the narrator and the bottom of the pictures. You will find today's verbs right here at the bottom of the pictures. Ready?
Mary asked the guests at table 14 if she could take their food order. May I take your food order now? She informed the guests about the specialties on the menu for that week. The fresh Cape Cod oysters and the Norwegian salmon are our specialities this week. Mary wrote down the details of the order on the food order form. The oysters to start and the salmon to follow, please. Yes, madam. A guest ordered the filet steak, so Mary asked how he wanted his steak cooked. How would you like your steak, sir? Well done, medium or rare?
Medium, please.
Mary had to describe a dish on the menu for another guest. How are the filet de sole à la minière prepared? The sole fillet are sautéed in sweet butter and flavoured with a little lemon juice. She also explained to a guest what a certain ingredient was.
Mary, is couscous a vegetable?
No, sir. It's a type of grain made from wheat. When another guest asked for something that was no longer available, Mary apologised and recommended an alternative that was equally light.
I'll have the asparagus as a starter.
I'm very sorry, sir, but we've run out of asparagus. Would you like to try the cucumber mousse instead? It's light and very tasty.
All right, that sounds good.
She asked if anyone wanted an extra order of vegetables or salad. Would anyone like to order extra vegetables or salad with their main course? When all the guests had placed their orders, Mary repeated the whole order back to them. May I repeat your order? That's 2 cucumber mousse, 1 oysters, 1 mussel salad. Then she asked the guests for confirmation that the order was correct. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Mary then told them she would be back soon with their meal. Thank you. I'll be back soon with your meal. Part 2. Maury.
Excellent. So you can see all the verbs. I put a box around them in green, a green box. Now, let's look at the exercise. The waiter described, the waiter informed, the waiter repeated, recommended, explained, asked or wanted the guest, or the waiter asked the guest if they were ready to order their food. He asked the guest if they were ready to order their food. Mary is a waitress. In our exercise, we have a waiter, he. So this is number 1. Organize this in your notebook. Number 1, ask the guest if they're ready to order their food. That's the first thing we need to do. Ask the guest if they're ready to order their food. Letter E. Number 1. This is the first thing you have to do as a waiter at the restaurant. Ask if the guests are ready to order their food. What's next? Look at the different activities. What is next? We got number 1. What's next? Describe how the dish was cooked. Inform them about the restaurant specialties. Repeat the whole order back to them. Recommend another dish. Another guest asked. A guest wanted. He explained. Run out of salmon. Number 2. Inform the guest about the restaurant's specialties. Today's specials are tomahawk and ribeye from the grill. All right, we got number 1 and number 2. Ask the guest if they're ready to order. Number 2. Inform them about the restaurant's specialties, the specials for today. All right, let's go number 3. Do you have number 3? Do you see number 3 right here? Number 3, he described the dish. Well, first, they have to ask how the dish is prepared. A guest wanted to know how a dish was prepared. Sometimes the guests have questions, maybe about the specialties. After the guest wanted to know how a dish was prepared, we describe how the dish was cooked. Prepared or cooked. So that's number 4. Next. Another guest asked for salmon, but we've run out of salmon. So that's gonna be the next one. First, they wanna order salmon. So that's easy, that's number 5. Another guest asked for salmon. Okay, let's see if we're correct. Number 1. Ask the guest if they're ready to order their food. Okay, yes, that's first. Next, inform them about the restaurant specialties, the specials, so they know about the specials. Now they have questions and they ask how a dish, a special is prepared. That's number 3. Number 4, let's describe the dish. Describe how the dish is prepared, how the dish is cooked. Okay, that sounds good. Next guest wants salmon. Different situation. This skill is for when you have an order and we don't have this dish available. We run out. It's not available. We need to explain the restaurant has run out of salmon, or the dish run out. It's not available. Run out of. When you have a guest order something that is not available, make sure you recommend another dish, another alternative, something different that is available but very similar. If they say yes, perfect. Now we repeat the order. Repeat the whole order back to them. You should organize your notebook in this order. Organize your English class in this order. Look, this should be all over your notes, your notebook. Number 1. This is what you do when you take a food order. First, you ask the guest if they're ready to order their food. Organize it in your notebook. We have it here, very beautiful organization. Next, inform them about the restaurant's specialties. Good. Number 3. This can happen to you. A guest wants to know about how a dish was prepared. Okay, no problem. We can describe the dish. We can describe the dish. That's number 4. Next, another guest. This can happen to you. Another guest can ask you for something that it's not available, that we run out of. So we need to explain. That's number 5 and number 6. If that happens, you need to recommend another dish to the guest. When you finish that, finally, repeat the whole order back to them. Perfect order. This is the perfect order of taking a food order with special guests that order things not available in the menu. Excellent. Fantastic exercise. This is a really good exercise for taking a food order. This will improve your vocabulary for English for the restaurant. Now, we need to substitute the underlined words in the sentences below with the word from the box. Here's the box. In the box, we have alternative, confirmation, meal, specialties, ingredients, main course, starter, and the dish. Here's the sentences. Let's read the sentences together. Ready? He had a good dinner at the restaurant his friend recommended. A good dinner. Number 2. She served the food on a very pretty plate. She served the food on a very pretty plate. Plate is underlined. Pay attention to the underlined words. That restaurant has fresh food items. Fresh food from different countries on the menu every week. There were no more oysters, number 4, so he had to choose an item that was available. Oh. Number 5. For my first course, I'll have the mushroom soup. Number 6. The chef uses many different things to make that dish. Different things. Number 7. The biggest part of his meal is usually chicken or fish. That's number 7. After repeating the whole order to the guests, he asked them if it was correct. If it was correct. Pay attention to the underlined words in each sentence. Dinner, plate, fresh food items, item that was available, first course, different things, biggest part, if it was correct. We have our vocabulary here in yellow, in the yellow box. Let's practice. Okay, number 1. He had a good dinner at the restaurant his friend recommended. Dinner, lunch, and breakfast, meal. That's our example for today. Number 1. The meals. People usually eat 3 meals. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Those are the meals. Number 2. She served the food on a very pretty plate. What is another word for plate? We need another word for plate. Plate. This is the exercise for different things. So, plate. What is another word for plate? That's right, dish. Number 3. The restaurant has fresh food items. Fresh food items. Fresh. Every week, on the menu every week, fresh food items. There's something special about these items. The specialties. Oh, specialities. Specialities. Specialties or specialities. Specialities. Let's look up the pronunciation. This is a beautiful vocabulary word. Specialities. Speciality.
Specialty.
Specialty. Specialties.
Specialty.
The specialties. Number 4. There were no more oysters. No more oysters. So he had to choose no more oysters. So he had to choose an alternative. Excellent. Item that was available. Number 5. For my first course, I'll have the mushroom soup. The first one is the starter. Number 6. The chef uses many different things to make that dish. Different things, different ingredients to make that dish. The biggest part of his meal is usually chicken or fish. The big part at the restaurant is the main course, the big part of the meal. The main course of his meal is usually chicken or fish. And confirmation. After repeating the whole order to the guest, he asked them confirmation. He asked them for confirmation.